Aloha, Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. And this is an update on the mosquito and what we dealt with on Friday, May 12th, to give our testimony to the BLNR, Hawaii BLNR, Bureau of Land and Natural Resources, when they were wanting to oppose or support the denial of a contested case. This language is so weird because they denied a contested case back in, I don't even remember when it was anymore, but Tina Leah of Hawaii Unites asked for a contested case against the Wolbachia injected mosquitoes being released in Maui without an environmental impact statement. This woman, Tina Leah, has taken this Maui assessment page by page, line by line, and has really researched it to the best of her ability. And so what happened was they denied the contested case, and they weren't supposed to do that. The protocol was, if somebody contests a case, you stop the vote. You do not vote. And you allow that person 10 days to show you the evidence of why they're contesting this case. They did not do that. They just immediately denied her contesting of the case without seeing any evidence. So now this meeting, or the meeting on Friday, was to either support the denial of the contested case, which means they don't have to see the evidence, or to oppose the denial, which means they allow her to submit her evidence of why she's contesting the Wolbachia 40 billion mosquitoes being released in Maui. So I want to show you the testimonies, and I want to let you know that during this meeting, they moved up a ton of agenda items, all of them actually. I think we were the last agenda item on the list. We waited close to 9 hours to give our testimony. You know, I was on, I got off for a little bit, I got back on, I thought, oh, it's after 5, this was 9 a.m., it's after 5 o'clock, they're gonna defer this to another time, and then I get a text, Michelle, they're starting our agenda item at 6:45 p.m. So let's just start with that. But I wanna show you guys this, and if you want to help, if you know what's next, we're not stopping. Tina Leah of Hawaii Unites has hired an environmental attorney, and we are getting a ton of funding because people are concerned. And if you live on the islands, if you ever want to visit the islands, if you are a tourist who has visited the islands and you want to make sure that these islands are safe, please go to hawaiiunites.org, hawaiiunites.org. Check out what we're doing. Sorry, there's a big old gnat right in front of my face. And donate, even if it's $10. You know, we can take it, we can use it. So please do that. We're both of us are volunteering. I've been volunteering for this kind of stuff for 3 years. So, and sitting on these boards, which I've learned a ton. But anyway, let's get to it. I want to show you the testimony that was last Friday. Let you listen to what people had to say. Look at the the Bureau of Land and Natural Resources. Watch what they do, because it's quite mind-blowing that these people who love these islands, I'm sure they do, but the absolute absurdity to disregard a contested case is mind-boggling to me. So I'm going to go ahead and reverse the camera. Reverse the camera. Can I do that? Let's see here. All right, here I go. I'm going to press start here. Play.
And you can go very quickly through this, because we've got a lot of people who want to provide comments.
So she's saying you can go really quickly to a testimony. You can go really quickly through this because we've got a lot of people. But let me just tell you guys that they've let a ton of people speak for a very long time. Each one of us got 3 minutes, and it was up to that time, and that was no more. And we stayed like for an hour listening to somebody talk about their loan. And so anyway, that's all I want to say.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Aloha, Chair Chang and board members. My name is Lainey Berry. I am the Wildlife Program Manager at the Division of Forestry and Wildlife. This agenda item is a request to deny the petition for a contested case of agenda item C2 from March 24th, 2023, which was the request to request approval of a final environmental assessment and authorization for the chairperson to issue a finding of no significant impact for the suppression of invasive mosquito species to reduce transmission of avian malaria to threatened and endangered forest birds on East Maui. And you have my submittal. Is there anything else you need?
Nope, I think that's it. So I'm
Okay.
gonna now,
Available for questions.
Amy? No, let's take our, so Tina, why don't we hear from you first? Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. My name is Tina Leah. I'm the founder and president of Hawaii Unites. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to the conservation and protection of our environment and natural resources. We're opposed to the board's request to deny our petition for a contested case hearing. In our petition, we address several serious risks and concerns about this project, including the fact that this is an experiment. The southern house mosquito has never been used for standalone incompatible insect technique field release. Landscape level control of southern house mosquitoes using IIT has never been done before, and the East Maui project area is over 89 times the size of the largest project area to date globally, which used 80s mosquitoes. IIT has never been used for conservation purposes, and the outcome is admittedly unknown. We've also brought to your attention the lack of research and discussion regarding the specific concerns of tropical disease expert Dr. Lauren Pang about horizontal transmission of the lab bacteria to wild mosquitoes and other insect vectors of disease. Peer-reviewed studies showing Wolbachia bacteria to cause mosquitoes to become more capable of spreading avian malaria and West Nile virus. Accidental release of bacteria-infected females who bite, breed, and spread disease to birds, other animals, and humans. Lab-strain females created in the wild through horizontal transmission. Noise disturbances to forest bird breeding and nesting, biopesticide wind drift. The EPA discredited Popovici et al. Study cited in the environmental assessment to assert that the mosquitoes pose no risk to human health. Failure to identify biosecurity protocols, conflicts of interest, the need for an environmental impact statement in accordance with the Hawaii Environmental Policy Act, and the possibility for this project to cause the extinction of endangered native birds. Public input is crucial with a plan of this magnitude and potential significant impact to the environment. Please do what's right for these islands. Allow for meaningful public participation in the decision-making process and approve our petition for a contested case hearing. The community's concerns need to be addressed before moving forward with an experiment that may have devastating consequences for Maui's wildlife and fragile ecosystems. Study this further. Protect the native birds and the Aina. I'm asking you to honor constitutional due process and ensure that you make an informed decision about this project. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, Tina. And again, I appreciate your patience. I just want to confirm for the record, Tina, that you also filed a complaint for declaratory ruling on regarding this matter. Is that correct?
Are you speaking of the complaint in environmental court?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Questions? Nope. Okay. The next person, thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you.
After Tina, I have, is it Michelle Melendez?
Yes, yes, it is. Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. Okay. I'm curious to know if any of the chair members have read the entire Maui assessment, because Tina Leah has. Not only has she read it, she's gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. And for contesting cases, we have one of the rules that the BLNR has is constitutional due process. This mosquito experiment, and that is what this is. This is not something that is proof that it's going to save the Malarian birds or the birds, the native birds. And with everybody, you know, in the last video testimonies, and people are crying, and I get the heart of it, but they don't even know if it's going to work. And the possibility that it could do more harm than good is out there in many research studies. And for you guys to oppose or deny this contested case, to see the evidence, all we want you to do is see the evidence that shows this is dangerous to these islands. And once this is out here, as Dr. Pang has stated, it can't be stopped, because the Maui assessment also says that females will be released. That means they will breed this bacterium. And we're not asking you not to do this. We're asking you to do an EIS to make sure it's safe for the islands. And according to the constitutional due process of that, you must make sure that it's not going to deprive any person of life or liberty. And this, can you imagine? I've been listening to you guys with the fireworks and the fish, and the chairwoman who said the BLNR's responsibility is to preserve and protect. Those were your exact words today. And another chairperson said, We are looking to have balance here.
Melinda, I'm going to ask you, Michelle, I'm going to ask you to summarize.
My summarization is that constitutional due process shows that you must see the evidence of this contested case before you put this experiment out into the public, into Hawaii. I mean, people, you talk about the fireworks. What if no one can go outside because of these mosquitoes are harming people? You don't know
Michelle,
that.
Michelle, I'm going to go on to the next person, all right? Because you've had 3 minutes. Thank you so much. So I have Tara Rojas.
Aloha. Yes, I'm going to speak on two things. One, I was at the meeting when Tina Leah requested a contested case, and just due to out of courtesy, so process-wise, she allowed everyone else to speak, and thus that influenced all of your decisions to then deny. When she said, "I want to contest the case," it should have shut down the meeting right there. Wouldn't have actually been able to hear all the other testimonies. And then another thing that happened was board member asked, can you explain why you're requesting a contested case? And then remember she asked, do you want long or short version? So in name of time, she said, give the short summary. And then that's when it was decided to deny her. Second point, and this is it, and I'll end with this second point. I was in the Kauai County Council meeting the other day, and even that board member also expressed his concern that we are in Hawaii. You cannot be comparing that this was done in Florida, this was done in other island nations, this was done in Singapore and everywhere else. You do not know the effects. It has never been done. And he specifically said, is it 100% or is it 99.9 whatever percent that there will be no negative consequences? And how are you going to account for all the mosquitoes that they're not going to drift into other areas? They couldn't answer that it was 100%. So he says he is not.
Tara, can I ask you to summarize?
Yes, and again, I'm going to also say, Palala, that it seems that when we're up to testify that it's 2-3 minutes, that's it. When everyone else has the same passion, we have the same passion. But I'm going to say this again. I was there. I saw this. Even board members from Hawaii, because it's going to go there too. We feel and we love the manu. We also need to take into account that an EIS needs to be done regarding the mosquitoes. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, Tara. I see, is it Jewel? Jewel, right? Your hand is up, and why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am with Tina and Michelle and the other man, I don't know, and Tara, in these understanding. I mean, I'm just sort of blown away that this would even be happening. So I'm definitely opposed to denying the contested case hearing, and we definitely have to have this experimental thing looked into. It's definitely going to do more harm than good. All the science and evidence say, and I'm wondering how you would think that any invasive species would actually have a positive effect on the islands, because it's been proven time and time again that it does not. So you must see the evidence before, and it's a constitutional due process. And it's just quite obvious that any other decision other than that is, I don't know, being paid for by someone.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just want to pause for a second because one of the board members gets upset when she said that. But let me just tell you, the federal government is giving $14 million for this experiment. So where's that money going? So I appreciate this board member because she gets upset with Jules' comment about the money. But $14 million is set aside for this experiment. So who's getting that? Where does that money go? So that's what Jules was talking about, and then this board member gets upset with this.
I now have, is it Kahaku?
Sorry, Chair, can I just address that last point because this is an all volunteer board. I've been here since 9 o'clock this morning. I don't get paid for this. I have 2 small children at home. I take my time out of my day to contribute to our state, and I take accusations that I or anybody else on this board is being paid to make any decision very personally. So please be thoughtful when you're making accusations like that. It's very offensive.
But again, there is $14 million that is set aside by the federal government for this. So that's what we're wondering, who's getting that? Where does that go? So if it's not these board members, which I don't think it is, I think these people are coming from their heart, but they're not seeing what really is Pono here.
Board member. I'm going to now take, is it Kahokua Koi Kialahapau Ole? I see your name. Do you want to unmute yourself? Okay. Let me go to the next person. Napua Hueo.
Aloha, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
O Napua Hueo Ko'ui Noa no Maui Hiki no Mai Au. I am a lineal descendant, generational taro farmer in East Maui. EastMauiFarm.org to learn more about our conglomerate of kalo farmers that are working to restore wetland habitat, lo'ikalo, alwai systems in East Maui to ensure food security. As a stakeholder to this issue, given that the mosquito release project is slated for East Maui, I would like to convey our support for Tina Leah and Hawaii Unites for the work that they have done to double check and cross check all of the information involved with this project. We are in firm opposition to this project, and I wanted to say that from a Hawaiian practical standpoint, that restoration of stream water resources from Mauka to Makai needs to be prioritized before we move into these types of experiments where we're bringing in invasive mosquito strains to try and combat mosquito populations. It's just not sensible for us. We want to see Mauka to Makai restoration as a first step to addressing the issue of mosquito populations. They are collecting mosquitoes for the pre-project portion of this intended mosquito release project, and they're using these mosquito traps that are catching thousands and thousands of mosquitoes so that they can do the pre-project study. I don't see why we can't deploy thousands of these mosquito traps throughout all of the forests in Maui Hikina to combat mosquito populations. I do have a sincere concern with the data regarding our native bird populations here on Maui. Kahikinui Game and Land Management, Ohana, has
Napua, can I ask you to summarize too?
Sure. KGLMO has done extensive decades worth of monitoring of Kahikinui Forest, and their data conflicts with Maui Forest Bird Recovery Project's information about bird populations. Maui Forest Bird Populations Recovery Project, makes claims that various of our manu are non-existent here in East Maui on Haleakala Slope, and that is false information. And so the stakeholders need to be consulted extensively to cross-check the data that these Maui Forest Bird Recovery project is putting out there as justifications as to why this mosquito project needs to happen. Mahalo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you waiting.
There's someone on the phone.
There we go.
Hi.
There you go. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Ooh, sorry, my computer died. It's been a very long meeting. Yes, my name is Faith Chase, and I have an organization, Farmers Voice Hawaii. I am an absolute opposition to this introduction of the Walbatia mosquito. I am worried that this is a extremely premature move to introduce something that is potentially very dangerous. And I would just like to lend a little bit of listening to your ear, Chair. I know I'm actually supposed to direct my comments to the Chair, and I really want to do that right now because I got to meet you when I believe it was the Department of Health. You remember when that big cement fell down in Wailua and Kianai, and then the water wasn't flowing, and then you guys were able to do the schematics and revive that funding to support that removal.
It was through Department of Agriculture.
Department of Ag.
Yeah, working with the East Maui farmers. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And so that is complete, and the water is flowing. And so I'm not sure if this body is aware that Maui County, Four Island County, has just created an East Maui Community Water Authority. And so we have farmers and water experts and stakeholders that are from the place that are able to contribute their mana'o in choosing a director and moving forward and balancing the diversion and supporting upcountry water users, but also making sure that the kalo farmers have what they need. And I just wanted to remind you of that, because we're on that cusp of that right now. The streams, if you recall following the issue, they're only now getting returned, and that flow is really important for that sort of that mosquito population that was sort of gathering within all those stagnant rivers. I mean, I don't know if this body has been to Maui, gone to Hana. We have this chime, 54 bridges to Hana town, but it's 54 empty rivers to Hana town. And so all those rivers, a lot of those rivers are returning their in-stream flow. And so I just wanted, maybe just defer this. Like, we need a little bit more time to study this and return to it. But I also want to tell you that I've become a watershed grant writer in the last couple of years.
So
and
Faith,
I know that there's money.
I'm going to ask you to summarize, okay?
Thank you, I will. I guarantee you, and I promise you as a watershed grant writer, that within 2 months, 3 months, I can introduce to you funding that would support more research in this area. This is really, really scary for us. So thank you for your time. And I understand, I heard the one commissioner saying she's got children at home. I thank you for being a mother and dedicating your time, and happy Mother's Day. And I please slow the roll a little bit and just make considerations. And thank you. I know that you understand what I mean with regards to the contested case. Thank you,
Faith. So is there anyone else?
Let's see. I don't think so. That's it.
Okay, I'm going to close public testimony on this. And board members, do I have a motion or questions, comments? Chair Alvey?
To get it started, move to accept the staff recommendation on this one.
Second.
There is already a piece of litigation going on by the same group before the courts, and this would be a duplication of it.
It's your country. Yeah. Okay. I go ahead, Riley.
Discussion.
Yep, discussion.
So I just want to get in the record that I'm supporting the motion to deny the contested case, and it's because in the write-up it explains that the petitioner did not assert a property interest that would trigger the due process analysis, and also that the recommendation has been to seek relief in the environmental court, which the applicant said she has. So that's why I'm denying this.
Thank you for reiterating that. Any other discussion? Okay. A motion has been made and seconded to approve staff's recommendation to deny the petition for contested case hearing. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is passed. Thank you, all of you.
Okay, so I want to explain what just happened. So he was saying, Riley Smith, BLNR member, was saying that he said two things. One, he said that she did not say the property that would allow for due process, constitutional due process. So basically what that means is that constitutional due process means no state shall make a law that takes away somebody's life or liberty or property. So he was saying that we cannot say BLNR, you have to allow for this contested case and be allowed to hear the evidence for this contested case because of constitutional due process, because she didn't say, oh, this is the property that is going to be affected and bring up the property. But the thing is we weren't bringing up the property. We were saying use the constitutional due process for life and liberty. And so he's saying she didn't bring up the property. And this is my take. This is how I'm reading this and how I'm understanding this. This is when he said that, I was like, what? We're not saying it's about property. We're saying it's about life and liberty. And that's why the BLNR must allow for the contested case. But he is saying that she didn't bring up property. So anyway, those are different things. So and then the second thing that he said was that because she's already filed a case with an environmental attorney, when the BLNR first said this experiment is going to happen, and they gave a public awareness, because that's what they have to do. They have to go, okay, this is what the BLNR has decided. Now you guys have 30 days in order to challenge their decision. That's what that's about. She had 30 days to challenge that decision, and that was expired on May 8th. She hired an attorney. We're raising funds, HawaiiUnites.org, and we need 30,000. We have 7, which we're getting slowly inching for. They approved their denial to allow for a contested case. So they're not going to see the evidence of why this is dangerous with all those people that just testified that waited over 9 hours to give their testimony. And it seemed like that was going to be their decision regardless. So what do we do now is we keep just holding the light and keep moving forward, and we need funds. We need legal funds, and I already know we have it. We already have the 30 grand. I'm just putting that in the universe. It's going to show up in whatever way that it needs to show up, and that's in HawaiiUnites.org is where you want to go to help with this. The other thing I want to share is that Kauai County Council, I did get a meeting, I'm just going to put this in so I can read it to you guys. Just so you guys know, just be aware of this is what has happened. Hello, here it is. Kauai Council passed mosquito biocontrol. So Kauai, so each island needs to go through this process and have their council meeting members pass this. And Kauai, it looks like they passed it. Kauai County Council supports mosquito biocontrol to protect honey creepers. Again, they're wanting to protect the birds when they don't even know if this is going to work. That broke my heart when I saw Kauai pass this. This is where we're at with Maui. We, as people of these islands, must come together. We must come together. Hawaii Unites is a perfect name for this, HawaiiUnites.org. My own website is a one-pager. I just created standtogetherhawaii.com. HawaiiUnites.org is a nonprofit. So when you donate to help with legal fees, it does go to a nonprofit organization. It can be tax write-off. So if you want a tax write-off and you want to send us $10,000, it'll be tax written off. So I'm just throwing that out there. But this is what happened on Friday. We waited over 9 hours to give our testimony. But that's how much, we love these islands. This is volunteer work for me. This is volunteer work for Tina. This is volunteer work for everybody who did their testimony. And I want to say so much mahalo to everybody who did their testimony, because it takes time and to sit there and listen to all these agenda items that are moved in front of you, moved in front. We had D4, we had F2, different things. We were C3. So we were up, should have been at the beginning in the morning, but we weren't, we were last. And that's okay. They want to play that game. That's all right. I'm gonna hold my heart. I'm gonna stay grounded in the Aina, and I'm gonna trust in that higher power that this is my kuleana, and you do what your kuleana is. If you want to support and donate, that would be fantastic. We will be continuing standing for these islands. So sending you guys so much aloha and so much love.